everybody. My name is Eman Rimawi-Doster, and this is the first of many episodes in the podcast um, brought to you by Diversity Includes Disability. Again, my name is Eman Rimawi-Doster. I'm the Executive Director of Diversity Includes Disability, and we have started up a podcast on disability called My So-Called Disabled Life. Hello. Um, so this is the first episode of my so-called disabled life. Welcome to the dumpster fire, baby. And apologies for any background noise. I did do a couple tests, and so it did sound like a teeny bit of background noise, just a teeny bit. I will be doing this from a different location next time. But welcome to my bedroom. I hope you like the art. Anyway, this podcast is going to be about all kinds of things with disability and whatever it is, whether it's the trials and tribulations of having a chronic illness and going to the doctor constantly, like I do. I have lupus, but my lupus isn't the standard lupus. And so, if you don't know what lupus is, it's an autoimmune disorder. It's basically my body attacking itself constantly. I've had it since I was 14. That's when it showed up, even though it was in my body forever, because it's hereditary. So that means it was in my body from jump, and something triggered it. My doctors think it was my father passing away when I was 14, which triggered it because that is when my flares just basically came out of nowhere and started punching me in the face consistently. Um, and since I was 14, it has been a dumpster fire of all kinds of shenanigans. So yeah, and because of my lupus, I've had 4 heart attacks, umpteen strokes, mini strokes, and then 2 massive strokes. I've had paralysis from the neck down, which is why my hands are like this, because this is as much as I could get them back. And I also have a blood clotting disorder connected to my lupus called catastrophic antiphospholipid syndrome, which is triggered by the inflammation with the lupus that's going on in my body. So my body wants to constantly clot and send clots everywhere, all over the place. And 11 years ago, I had a miscarriage, and the clots just went all through my body and then to my legs. And then after 8 months and 11 surgeries, I don't know if I should, but this was the end result. This is my BK leg. I had a tattoo on the back of my calf, so they saved it. And then my AK leg. This is a little. Okay. Wow. Mm, what? I don't know. Anyway, this is trial and error. I think I'll be changing apps soon because this is not the first time I've had issues with StreamYard. Um, anyway, I so yeah, it's been a journey. Coming up on it's been 26 years with my lupus, 11 years as an amputee. Um, and then my whole life, 40 years as a Black and Palestinian woman, girl, then woman, living in New York my whole life. Um, and I've experienced all kinds of things, from medical racism to medical sexism to just plain old racism and plain old sexism, coupled with a little bow of ableism right on top of it. In addition to people, because my name is Eman Rimawi, and then the Doster got added on a couple few years ago when I got married. Um, people constantly, whenever I have appointments for anything, they assume that I don't speak English, and then speak to me in very weird ways. And so it's very interesting. So yeah, so it's been a journey. And this whole podcast is going to be about the humors and trials and tribulations of that journey, but also talking to other people about other experiences, from trying to get an apartment, to trying to get a job, to going to school, to going to the medical appointments, to navigating the city. People claim that New York City is the most accessible place in the world. It is not. It's accessible to you if you have money, sure. But if you don't have any money, and if you are just a poor person with a disability, you are often screwed by all the things. And I know that because not only did I grow up poor. We didn't have much money. My mom had one job with the phone company back in the day when it was 9X. First it was Bell Atlantic, then it was 9X, and then it became Verizon. There you go. And then my dad had three different jobs. He worked for Associated. He worked for IBM. No, IBI. It was a security truck. Um, and he did security for a bunch of different companies, and worked with cops to do security for folks, private security and stuff like that, before he passed away. um and we still, I mean, and there were three of us, three kids, before my parents got divorced, and then he remarried and had another kid, and then passed away when my little brother was like 4 months old. All the while we were struggling. um, and we constantly had to apply for assistance and for help and support, which was not necessarily easy to come by, or to get. Um, and growing up, I didn't have access to, like, whether it was financial literacy, whether it was budgeting, whether it was, using your skills to, like, be creative with your money making ventures, or whatever the case is. Like, you know, I I struggled with a lot of that, and stayed in poverty for quite some time after I left home. I left home at 19. My mother and I had issues, as do lots of teenagers with their parents. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I need to get up out of here. She was not the nicest or greatest, even though she forgets all the dumpster fire thing she did. She thinks she was the best. And granted, like, I understand that she was 17 when she married my dad. She was 18 when she had me, 19 when she had my brother, 25 when she had my sister, and in between that, she lost some pregnancies, um, before my sister and after. And so, like, I understand, like, if I was 25 years old and I had three children here and lost some in between and lost some after that, it might do something to my head too. Um, so I get it. And so that's not necessarily an excuse, but it's a reason, and it's understanding. And it took me a while to get there, to understand why she was the way she was, growing up the way she did, and then subsequently passing on that generational trauma onto me, my brother, and my sister as well. Um, that happens a lot in Black families, Black and brown families, really, because I've seen that with a lot of my friends, Black and brown folks, and even white folks too. There's generational trauma from y'all, but y'all get money with it too. So, just saying. I ain't got no money with that. I just got the trauma. I mean, I do got the look, so there's that. But I'd take the money over the looks. I'm just saying. Anyway, so yeah, so it was a lot of things going on, and I am honestly not surprised that the level of people who have autoimmune disorders and chronic illnesses is so high in Black and brown communities, because of this generational trauma that we are continually passing down. It's one of my really, really big goals. If I'm ever lucky enough to become a parent, because that's something I've Well, honesty now. I've actually lost 3 pregnancies, um, which has been very difficult for me, and they were all hard, and the one that was even harder was the last one, with my husband. That was incredibly difficult for me. Um, so I so I'm not sure if I'll even get the chance, because beyond anything else, like I get, maybe it's because of how I grew up, I don't know, but I didn't necessarily know whether I was going to be a wife or not, because of all of the shenanigans going on with how I grew up. But I did know that I always wanted to be a mom, always wanted to be a mother. And and I turned 40 in April. That was several months ago. And I mean, the one plus, I went to an IVF clinic a couple years ago because we were talking about a surrogate after I lost the last one. And I went, I think, in 2020. And I lost the pregnancy in 2019. And the guy, the doctor there was like, "Oh wow, you've got a lot of eggs. You're good to go, and you should be good for a few years." So that was 2 years ago. No, no, that was shit. That was, oh gosh, that was like 4 years ago. Hope I still am good. But he said that there wasn't, that I should still be good, to wait. So check again. It was not. You know, we got pregnant by accident, as it happens sometimes. So I'm hoping that if we can actually um, have everything monitored, like hardcore, and they want to watch me like a hawk, that's totally fine, y'all. You want to watch me like a damn hawk? You want me to stay home all the time? You want me to freaking go on a raw vegan diet again? You want me to freaking stop drinking coffee? Although coffee is my thing. You know, y'all want me to do all that? Fine. I will do all that. To be a mom, I will do all of that. I will do all of that and then some. Um, so I so yeah, I'm hoping that they'll say, oh, that my doctors will agree to that. Um, but I don't know if they will, because my heart isn't the strongest for years and years and years. Um, my doctors at my old hospital, at my old clinics, didn't tell me that my heart issues were as bad as they were. And they did not have me on a bunch of heart medications. And I didn't find out about the severity of my heart issues until 2016, even though my heart issues have been there since I had my first 2 heart attacks in 2001. Um, and so it's taking, and if I started the heart medication much earlier, maybe it would be to the point where it would be better now, for you know for me to have a kid, for me to act, because it's a very stressful thing to, what you call it, have a baby. I'm sure y'all are aware of how stressful it is on bodies to have babies. Like, it's no joke. And so and my when I met the doctors in 2016, my heart, the right side of my heart wasn't even functioning at a capacity that I could do anything, and they were stunned that I wasn't breathing heavy or falling over or sweating or, like, all messed up and all over the place. They were like, how are you functioning? And I'm just like, I don't know, you tell me. Like, I didn't even realize that my heart was in that bad of a shape. And they told me at the time that you could have dropped dead at any time because the right side of your heart was not functioning anywhere near the capacity. It was like 16% or something like that. It was like so, 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 so tiny, so minuscule, that I could have dropped dead at any time. And I was like, Oh, Jesus. Damn, son. Okay. So I've been on heart medication since 2016. Um, and still 8 years later, coming up on almost 9 years, into next year, um, it's only at like 45%. So from then till now, it went from around 16 to like 45%. And for my age, it's supposed to be at like 53, 55% of the pumping. Um, and you know, I don't know. I'm going for an echocardiogram actually tomorrow. That's the fun part of chronic illnesses. Um, so they want to do an updated echo on me, and then I'm going to see my heart doctor again next week. She's the heart failure specialist. She's freaking awesome. Love you, Dr. Karras. And her and my rheumatologist are going to talk again about. Oh gosh, I got some bags. I am finally starting to look a little lived in. Um, so I am going to do all that, and then when I see her next week, I'm gonna be like, okay, so is my heart is it close enough yet? Can I try? I mean, also like you guys, I was living all this time not knowing my heart was at the level that it was at, and didn't drop dead. Didn't drop dead. So maybe there's a chance. I'm a miraculous person, y'all. Miracles happen with me. I'm literally a walking, living, breathing miracle. Y'all don't even know how I'm still alive. So maybe, just maybe, I could have a baby and survive it. And I'll be one and done. Like originally, I wanted three, like the way I grew up, because my brother has three, and I wanted three, but my body can't handle three. Um, Especially with the time constraints, considering I'm 40 and I was already high risk, and now I'm doubly high risk because of my age and the shenanigans consistently going on in my body. So yeah, so you know, I it's something that I want, and I am going to talk to him about it again since I've not brought it up in a couple years. And I brought it up again because my husband brought it up the other day, and he was like, "No, I think it'd be cool to see a little us." Oops, excuse me. And part of me, sorry, little Barbie, little Barbie. And you know, I'm down with it, and I have so many other friends, with physical disabilities and chronic illnesses who've had babies, um, who've given birth and had babies, and they survived. And so I don't know. I feel like I feel like God's been looking out for me for a real long time, especially when humans have not given one flying fuck about me. Sorry, this is an adult show, so we use an adult language. Sorry, not sorry. Um, so I mean, yeah, yeah. I've always wanted I've always wanted a kid, and not for me, um, because you don't own a child. I feel like so many parents are like, "You're mine, bitch. That's it. I gave birth to you. I can take you out." And this is also like, well, why though? Don't you know that that's the generational trauma translating while you're having a kid, and that you are putting your trauma and your abuse onto them? They're your child. They're not your property. So yeah, so I hope that I can do it, and I will do whatever it is that I need to do it. Um, yeah, because surrogacy is wildly expensive, and we don't got no money for that, but we do have money for a kid, and we can figure that out. But a surrogate is a whole nother ball of wax. So I'm hoping I can do it. I really am truly hoping I can do it. Um, so yeah. What else? So it's we're gonna be talking about all kinds of things on here. Also the aging, changing disabled body, because I know people who have lupus, but I've never met anyone who has it like me. And I've never met anyone who's also a double amputee because of shenanigans with their lupus. Um, so I'm not sure what my life is going to be like, 10, 20, 30 years down the line, because I've gotten progressively more disabled as I've gotten older. Now, on one hand, it hasn't changed too much necessarily, but it also has changed a lot and shifted a lot. So I do things a little differently because I have metal legs and you know amputations. This is my BK leg. This is my AK leg. So it's I know it's going to get you know on one hand my walking may get better, may get worse. I've had a lot of gastro issues the last 2 years. Apparently, gastrointestinal inflammation is a fun little ride as you get older, especially when you have chronic inflammation throughout your whole body and it goes wild all the time. So I don't know what's going to go on. And I have a couple surgeries coming up in the fall because of the gastro issues, which has also caused me to lose legit like 40 pounds over the last, I'd say since last the end of the summer, I started shedding mad pounds. Although I was shedding pounds since last year. So yeah, and from last year into this year. And I didn't do any of that on purpose. So I've started a whole bunch of new medication. Also fun fact, long COVID has been playing hopscotch with my lupus. And I caught long COVID while wearing a mask because no one else was wearing a mask around me. Oh gosh, I love it so much. There's a whole school of disabled folks who don't have chronic illnesses, who don't have compromised immune systems, who also don't give a flying fuck about me. I met a lot of them too. It's a whole lot of them. There's also a lot of folks in the disabled community who want to gatekeep positions and opportunities and things from folks like me because they don't actually want to look at the intersectional issues of race, class, and gender when it comes to disability discrimination. I'm gonna call them out too, because guess what? Y'all a bunch of dumpster fires. Y'all are in the dumpster fire of the dumpster fire. Yeah. Yeah. So it's it's interesting to deal with all of this stuff while being an advocate in the community and also having a chronic illness that is very, very active. And also trying to do all the things. Running diversity includes disability, having a full-time job, trying to get away from the full-time job while doing this, and also having the chronic illness going on. It's a lot. Um, and capitalism was not designed to cater at all, even a little bit, to someone like me. And so trying to navigate the whole system of being a business owner, of doing good things in the community, of trying to bring equity and inclusion, while also having a shit ton of doctor's appointments, taking a wild amount of medication, and navigating it while dealing with your symptoms and dealing with the very active chronic illness. It's a lot. It's a lot. Um, so yeah. So I'm gonna have some special guests, which is awesome. I'm going to be going on some really fun trips, other people's events, and showing y'all what's going on. So I'm gonna be learning how to incorporate some of those little clips into this. Gonna be a fun little journey. Um, and tonight I'm going to a funders event, which is awesome. I am very excited to go to that. I've been going to a funders event a week around New York. And I've been basically pimping myself out. So yeah, trying to get myself some additional funds, which are coming, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, so I Oh, and I'm gonna be hearing back from some funding events, and some other events this week, next couple weeks. Every week I'm gonna be hearing back from someone. So that's gonna be fun too, because I'm gonna put that on the podcast. So that's gonna be fun. And I hope I have some good news for y'all. I wanna do this once a week. So I'll be doing another one next week on some of the new updates. Let's hope there are some good updates. Yeah, and I will leave it at that for now. So thank you all so much for watching. I just wanted to introduce myself. And in addition to all of my chronic shenanigans with my lupus and being a double amputee and having all the heart stuff and having all the inflammation and blood clotting stuff or whatever, I've been an advocate in the community, marginalized communities, Black and brown women, LGBTQ plus, disabled folks for 26 years now. Started in high school, which is wild because I started it before I even got my diagnosis because I knew something was going on with me, and I was like, something's going on. What the heck's going on? I don't know what's going on, but it's okay. I'm gonna fight for social justice. And I started in high school, and I got the itch, and it never went away ever. And it's been my whole career. Um, and also at the same time, I was also an artist, photographer, painter, poet, writer, multimedia kind of art. None of this is my art, but I do have art in the living room. Um, and I combine the both, the organizing and the art, and the poetry and all that. And I am coming back to my art, getting back into it because, after organizing for all of these years, decades and decades on end, I find that I want to go back to my art and just do that. I'm incredibly burnt out from all the organizing and activism I've been doing all these years. Um with very little change, and improvement. And not to say that I'm not going to still be involved and still be incredibly vocal. I just know that this has taken a toll on my health consistently, and I need to shift a bit. And if I'm just doing solely art and doing my politics through art, that's just what it's going to be. Um, So yeah, I'm shifting on that, and I did an art show last month into the beginning of August, and I've got another one coming up in December, which I'm very, very excited about. I've got a whole bunch of other art things coming up this fall. We are continuing our open mic series once a month, the fourth Friday of the month, in Brooklyn at Secret Pour, 6 to 9. Please come through. And I will be back next week with the second episode. So stay tuned, keep it gangster, and free Palestine. There you go.